right, so I am down in the outside the baggage claim area at the hotel and Touristanbul desk. You can see the Touristanbul is right, oh shoot, this is hard to do, right there. And then the hotel desk is right behind me. So I did this on the way out, and you may have seen this, but if you're only looking at the content on the way home, I wanted to kind of go through it again. And by the way, I was smarter at it this time. This is a great airport. It's a beautiful airport. The signage is absolutely horrendous. But the way this works is, you know, if you want to book the tour, you can book it when you book your airplane ticket. Now, you can just show up down here, but you can't be guaranteed to get on the tour. And the way this works is you have to enter the country. And, you know, you can do that right away if your tour's right away. But in my case, I had from 5 to 7 to kill. Plus, I didn't want to bring my bags all the way out here. So I went to the Turkish lounge, ate breakfast, took a shower, stored my bag, and then I entered the country. So it's a little bit more confusing to enter the country when you didn't do it initially when you came off the airplane, right? So the way you do it is you go towards Terminal F, and there's an escalator down, and you'll see an exit sign, and then they'll funnel you back into passport control to enter the country. Now, if you're in business class, that's super easy. You go through the fast track. So I had no baggage, went through the fast track. So from the time I left the lounge to the time I got down here and got my check-in to my tour, it took me, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. It's a long walk. It is a long walk. But I didn't have to wait in any lines. Now, if you were in coach, there was hundreds of people in that line. So, you know, they're not going to let you book something that you don't have time to do, so don't worry about that. But what if your flight's late? You may end up standing in that line. Now, if you have bags, then over here, you can see right there, they'll store your bags for you. I don't know how much they charge, probably not a lot. But you've got to be here, and you've got to check in 30 minutes before at that desk right there. They will give you your ticket. It's all free of charge. You get a meal, you get a tour. I mean, you can't beat it. It's really good. I did it on the way out, and I'm doing it on the way back. Different tour this time. So the way you do it, once you go through passport control, you got to walk all the way through baggage claim, and you go out the exit, outside baggage claim, hang a hard right, and you come all the way down the end to this desk. And you're going to pass a bunch of hotel desks and a bunch of tour desks on the way. That's not what you want. You want to be all the way down here at the end, the Turkish Airlines hotel desk and the Touristanbul desk. So that's how you do it. And then once you get checked in, they're going to tell you to wait over there. And 30 minutes before your tour, they're going to start to assemble people, and they're going to take you down that escalator right there and put you on the bus downstairs. So that's the way it works. So it's a little confusing at first, but you know, they know how to do it. It works. And so yeah, just allow a little extra time. There's a really nice coffee shop, and there's a Burger King down yonder. So if you're too early and you want to just have a coffee or whatever, go do it, man. This is awesome. Now, the same procedure would work if you had a hotel provided by Turkish Airlines. You would just do the same thing I just talked about, and then you go to that hotel desk. They give you a voucher and your transportation over to the hotel. I opted for the tour instead of the hotel because I can hang out in the lounge the rest of the time. All right. Getting ready to go on the tour. This is the half-day tour. We go to Dolmabahçe Palace, Turkish breakfast, Taksim Square, which is one of the main areas, Aqueduct of Alans, Yenkapi Harbor, City Walls, M&O, photo break on the Galata Bridge of the historical peninsula. Fenner Greek Orthodox Church, Bulgarian St. Stephen's Church. Looks like what they're going to do is they're going to take us by this palace and then to breakfast, and then over to Taksim Square. And what happened last time is basically once we stopped, we walked to all these other places. You see like 6 or 8 places in one little walking tour. This says it's a half a kilometer of walking, which is, nothing. All right. Hope you found that information helpful. If you ever come through Istanbul, free tours are available. All right, this is our first stop on the tour, called the Dolmabahçe Palace, which I'll show you in a minute, but I'm trying to make my way over here to the Bosphorus, the famous Bosphorus that separates the European side of Istanbul, or Constantinople, separates the European side from the Asian side. It is a little cloudy today, unfortunately, and I think we're going to have another photo stop where we'll be able to see some of this. But this is it, the world famous Bosphorus. And you might be able to see the bridge that crosses over from Europe to Asia. I am standing in Europe, and that is Asia. So the Europe side is where all the historical sites are, and the Asian side has a lot of residential, from what I understand. But welcome to Istanbul, or Constantinople. It's super cool to be here. The traffic was very bad, so he told us we're going to be cutting a lot of things short. We also stopped for they called it a Turkish breakfast, but it was a Turkish bagel and a Turkish coffee, which were really good. But, when you've got a 4-hour tour and 2 hours of it is in the bus, I don't think you really have time to stop for breakfast. Though it was good and I appreciate it, I'd rather have more time to look around. So between traffic and the weather, my expectations for this tour have gone way down, but anyway, it is what it is. So this is the Dolmabahçe Palace, one of the Ottoman palaces. And it's quite ornate and beautiful. Of course, Istanbul is famous for their cats, and because of that, they're famous for not having any rats. No cats or no rats, only cats. I wonder why. I wonder why there's no rats or mice. Over there is the soccer stadium, the football stadium. They have 3 teams in Istanbul, and that's one of them. That one holds 43,000 people. So that's it, the Dolmabahçe Palace. Don't have time to go in, and I don't know how much it costs or any of that stuff, but I'm sure it's nice, but we got to keep moving on. Oh, and then there's the clock tower, which is part of it. And I think that's a pretty recognizable Istanbul landmark. And when I was getting all my things out of the bag, all my video equipment, there was a cat who befriended me and thought I had some food for her. And she was very upset that I didn't, and I feel really bad about it. So here is the clock tower of the Dolmabahçe Palace. And then over here is the Dolmabahçe Mosque. And there's another view of the Bosphorus. Looks like the sun is kind of trying to come out, but it hasn't yet. When we were riding over here in the bus, it was so foggy, I wondered if we would see anything, but at least I can see the other side from here. All right, so that's stop one, the Dolmabahçe Palace and the Dolmabahçe Mosque. Here's a closer view of the mosque. The Dolmabahçe Mosque. This may actually be the best view of the mosque. This is the front. But I can't get any further away or I'll get hit by a car. And here's one of the main streets here. Another view of the soccer stadium. All right, so this is our next stop and it's very brief. We are on the Galata Bridge. And this bridge connects the two European parts of the city. Over there is the Bosphorus and the Asian part, and then this is the old city. Might be able to see, I saw that last time. That's the Hagia Sophia Mosque, one of the most important mosques in the city. I'm not sure what that big mosque is there, but that's a huge one right there. I'm surprised they let these buses stop on these bridges. And then there is yet another beautiful big one. So this tour is basically just riding around on a bus and him telling us things, so you can't really get any content footage. I suppose I could let you just listen to him and put the camera up against the window, but I don't think that'd be very good. But this is a pretty good view, absent the fog at least, of that side of the city. And when I traveled to Vietnam, I had a much longer tour and we actually got out and walked around, and we were up in this area of the old city here. So this is the Galata Bridge, and this is the Galata Tower, which is a famous landmark in the city. You know, when you get postcards and things of Istanbul, sometimes that'll be in there. Sometimes the Blue Mosque or the Hagia Sophia Mosque will be in there. So I guess this is our only stop. Some of the other main attractions that were listed on the itinerary, we basically just drove by and he pointed them out. Kind of bummed out about that. They have an all-day tour that looks really good, but unfortunately it doesn't get back till 4 o'clock, and that's what time my flight is. So that would not work for me. So I'm not sure I can really recommend this. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not sure I can really recommend this short one. It's a 3.5 hour tour with 2 hours on the bus, getting to and from, and then the rest of the time you're just driving around. But I am glad I got to see it. It's definitely a beautiful city, but it's winter time and it's foggy, so love to come back another time. 20 million people in this city. And then there's that other bridge over there. It's kind of cool. They let people stop on the bridge with their buses and take pictures. So, all right, well, apologies that I don't have much better content than this, but beggars can't be choosers, right? All right, I am back in the lounge at the airport. Got a beautiful plate of food. I mean, it's beautiful. There's not one stitch of meat on it either. I'm gonna have to find some meat at some point. I think I'm having pasta for my first meal on the plane, so got to get some meat in me. So let me wrap a bow around that tour. I still think the tours are great. That one I do not recommend. That was the short tour from 8 a.m. to 11:30. It's called Tour T15. And it was really just riding around on a bus. We had that one stop, which was like super boring. And then we had stop on the bridge, which that would have been a great photo op in better weather. And you know, they don't control the weather, obviously. But the tour I took last time on the way out here was called the Night Tour. Tour T17. And it was great. You know, they just had a lot more time. It was like 6 hours. Made 2 stops. Walked around, had dinner. Dinner wasn't good. But other than that, it was really good. So yeah, if you have a long layover here, it's a good thing. But this short one is just too much time on the bus. All right, time to eat, and then I will be getting on the plane here in a couple hours. All right, so I am on the plane, and right now there's nobody in the middle seat. This seat has like tons of leg room, tons of space, and 0 privacy and 0 storage. So I'm probably going to shut all this down and put it away in the overhead because there's nowhere to put anything. So let me get an idea what the seat looks like. Let me turn it around so you can see what the other side looks like. All right, so there's the TV and big old bench with the. Let me throw my pillow there while I'm at it. Like tons and tons of leg room. Just absolutely no privacy whatsoever. So as long as nobody ends up in the middle, I'll be okay, especially since it's not a nighttime flight. I mean, it is a lay flat bed, so it's not like I can't lay down and sleep if I need to. I just have no privacy. All right, see you in DC.
All right, so there's the tray set up for the first service with the appetizers. There's a number of other apps, but I just told her I wanted everything except seafood. And previous to that, we had a little meatball and a pastry puff and some nuts.
Here is the main course, little shish kebab action.
So, and last but not least, some dessert, some ice cream, some cheese, and
All kinds of other stuff they just threw on there.
last course.
All right, good afternoon. 2 hours out of DC. Here's the next meal. That's some sort of salad and some apps. So we'll see how that works. And then for the main, I'm going to request the meatballs. All right, going in for the last course. Turkish meatballs. Sorry for the glare. Turkish meatballs. Hopefully you'll be at the hotel in about 2 hours. Good evening from the Washington Dulles Airport, Fairfield Inn Marriott and Suites. I've arrived here. It's about 8 o'clock in the evening. My flight home to Tennessee leaves in the morning. And so I have made it back to the United States. God bless the USA. I'm going to do a little room tour here for you in a minute, but let me wrap a bow around Turkish. So starting off with that flight, right on time, food was good, everything was great. The service though, oh my gosh. You know, I know it was a lot and everything, and there was a lot of flight attendants. 3 hours. It took 3 hours after we left till the end of dessert. Like, I didn't get it. But, you know, they were nice. And, you know, they have like their method that they follow. And, you know, drinks don't fit too well into that. You have to beg for a drink. But, I mean, they're super nice and professional. The seat, you know, I was worried about it. But actually, there was so much leg room and so much space. I mean, it was actually kind of nice. I did sleep. It was okay. But if it would have been a flight where I was trying to sleep overnight and sleep longer and stuff, that might have been a problem. But I really think it's an okay product, except for there's just zero privacy. So I made the comment earlier in an earlier clip that I keep moving my seat to make sure I don't have anybody in the middle seat, because it's 2, 3, 2, which is an old business class product. So I kept moving my seat around, and there was absolutely nobody in the row of 3 but me the last time I moved my seat right before I checked in. So I'm like, this is great. So I board, and there's a guy in the other aisle, and he's super chill, so I'm good with him. There's nobody in the middle seat, so I'm happy. All boarding is completed. Everything's good. And it looks to me, because I went to the restroom when I came back, it looked to me like that middle seat in business class was the only empty seat in business class. So I was like really proud of myself, patting myself on the back. And right before we left, all hell broke loose. A lady and her daughter came. It was an elderly lady. She was going to sit in that middle seat. She would not sit between 2 men. I won't get into the whole religion and all that good stuff, but she was refusing to sit between 2 men. I was one of those 2 men. And I'm like, so she sat there belligerent, and all her bags were on the ground. We started pushing, and her daughter was standing by the doorway. And we were literally pushing back from the gate and taxing. And the daughter and the lady, and, you know, I couldn't understand any of it because it wasn't in English, but they were going back and forth with the flight attendants. The flight attendants were getting frustrated, and a different flight attendant would come by and tell the lady to put her bag up. And I mean, it was a full-size bag, and then she had another carry-on. They were just laying on the floor, and they're standing up, walking, while the airplane's taxiing out to take off. So at some point, it all got resolved, and they went back to coach. And some guy, I guess, that gave up his seat came up and sat. Now, those flight attendants treated him like crap because he wasn't supposed to be up there. Like oh, by the way, when the lady left, she took all her slippers, her pillows, her blankets, all the business class amenities. She made sure to drag them all to coach with her. I mean, it was pathetic, people. And then that poor guy had no pillow or a blanket, and they treated him like a second-class citizen the whole flight. I don't know if he never climbed over me. I'll tell you that. He did go to the restroom towards the end of the flight, but I mean, it was an 11-hour flight. So I don't know if he ever got up or not in that first 9-10 hours. I don't know. So Turkish altogether, 4 flights, 1 with the great product, 2 with the intermediate product, 1 with the crappy product. But they were all good. The food was all good. The service was all good. And I had been made aware of some operational problems they had. And yet all 4 of my flights were right on time. So for the price I paid for business class, $3,500, I am a very, very happy customer. I would fly them again in a heartbeat. The only problem is I had to reposition to Washington. So 2 extra nights hotel and all that good stuff. So that's not optimal, but it saves a lot of money. And so $3,500 all the way to Asian business class. So big thumbs up to Turkish, the lounge, the tours, all that good stuff. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about Turkish. They're a good airline, and I will look forward to flying with them again. So let me give you the room tour. Room tour time. Fairfield Inn Suites, Washington Dulles Airport. Now, of course, Fairfield Inns are nothing to write home about. There's not much to show you, but this is a Fairfield Inn Suite, and they have given me a suite. So here's the view from the front door. It's kind of nice. We've got the coffee and microwave and fridge. We've got the sink. And then the little toilet room has the shower. I am not a fan of Fairfield Inns. I can tell you many stories, but this one's pretty darn nice. So I've got a little living room with a couch and a TV in the living room. Then I've got a desk, and then the bedroom has its own TV and a king-size bed. So for Fairfield Inn, this is definitely top-notch. I do know that even though that's a nice king-size bed, it will not be that comfortable. Certainly not compared to what I've been sleeping in. They do not spend a lot of money on their bedding. Trust me on that. So that's it. That's the room tour. It's convenient. It's close to the airport. It's a 10-minute shuttle ride. The shuttle runs every 30 minutes. So, why am I here? 10,500 points on what they call a Point Saver Award. I mean, that's really, really low, especially for, during the week near a major airport. 10,500 points. I was really, really lucky to find that. So, all right, I'm off to bed, and I will check in from the lounge in the morning. I've got an exciting lounge I want to check out tomorrow. Good night. All right, good morning. Good morning. I am in the Etihad Airways Lounge in Terminal A at Washington Dulles, getting some breakfast before my Delta flight home. I don't think Delta has a lounge here, and I no longer have access anyway, so this is through Priority Pass, although I didn't understand why an Etihad lounge would be open at 6 in the morning. And through some further research, I learned they have this partnership with Chase Sapphire. So it's almost like a Chase Sapphire lounge, but it's not on, the Chase Sapphire lounge site. And there's some Chase signage around and stuff. So the branding is super confusing, which is a shame because this lounge is beautiful. I mean, this is like the most upscale, beautiful lounge I've ever been in like years. It's really beautiful. So the lounge gets a thumbs up. They open right on time, and so their buffet is bare bones because you have to order with a QR code. I had a little bit of trouble. Couldn't do it with my phone. but once I signed into their Wi-Fi, it worked great. Really nice little menu. I have a spicy turkey bao bun with egg. I have a beautiful yogurt and fruit bowl. I have a nice cappuccino. And while I was waiting for my food to come from the order, from the QR code, I went to the buffet and I had some potatoes with some spicy sauce on it. I didn't even know what it was. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then I had some Indian chana masala. Man, this food is really upscale. It's really good. I wish I had more time. I literally have like 10 minutes before I have to leave. So I'm gonna eat this food and head down to the gate. But yeah, Etihad Lounge, Dulles Airport. By the way, the airport's functioning. I made it through security real quick this morning. I mean, I know it's early, but this is a really good airport. It really is. It's kind of when we came in last night on that international flight, they threw us on the famous mobile lounges to get to immigration, which kind of was a bummer because, you know, first one off the airplane and then you've got to cram on that thing with 200 other people. But I made it through global entry. Like, I entered the country and I was standing out there waiting on the shuttle for the hotel in no time at all. This airport, they're doing a really good job. I hate the mobile lounges, but they're doing a good job. So anyway, I don't know if this is an Etihad Lounge or a Chase Lounge, but it's at the end of the concourse in Terminal A in Dulles, and it's opened at 6 in the morning, and it is friggin' awesome. All right. I am 232 miles from Atlanta. I'm on this Delta flight. Left just a few minutes early, due in a few minutes early. I'm on an A220, first class. And yeah, everything's going as planned. The in-flight entertainment wasn't working. I wanted to watch some news since I've been gone for 2 weeks, and it wasn't working. I asked him to turn it on. Finally, didn't know how to turn it on, so he finally turned it on, and guess what? No TV. So anyway, doing to Atlanta on time. Super lazy crew, and typical Delta flight. I'll be home soon, and I'll do a wrap-up video at that time. All right, welcome to Hotlanta, Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the busiest airport in the world. I am in the process of changing airplanes for my flight from DC and then my short 30-minute flight home. I don't expect much to happen on that flight. I have a nice first-class seat. In fact, same aircraft, same seat that I had on the last leg. And then I will be home after 16 days. So rather than wait till I get home to do my little wrap up, I'll do it now because I have about 10 minutes till boarding. And so what an amazing trip. What an amazing trip. I've got some numbers written down here. I mean, like, I don't work anymore, so I don't deal with numbers, but this is actually pretty amazing. So I've been to 3 countries. I started with 50, now I'm at 53 countries. I know a lot of people have a lot more than that, but 3 countries, 11 flights on 5 different airlines, 7 hotels, 2 hotel lounges, 8 airport lounges, countless airports, 1 cruise, 2 tours, both in Istanbul, way too many cab and tuk-tuk rides, and it's been just amazing. And in fact, you know, to cover the ground that I've covered for so many days, and I ran into almost no difficulties, honestly, which is surprising. I had 1 flight on Air Cambodia that was an hour late. That's literally the worst problem I had on the entire trip. So, in terms of countries, I didn't get to spend enough time Turkey as I would like to have, but I'd like to go back. At least I got a general understanding what Istanbul's about, things like that. Vietnam, I made my way around Vietnam to 3 different cities. Had a great time in each one. They were all quite different from each other. And Cambodia, which was awesome. So great times, great food, great people, very little difficulties. Didn't have any trouble using credit cards, although I didn't use them that often. Didn't have any trouble getting money. The only place I used the ATM was in Vietnam, but I think I used it 3 times. I never had any trouble. So sometimes when you travel international, you know, your credit cards don't work and your ATM card doesn't work. You got to have cash. You got to be ready. No problems with any of that. All the flights and all the airlines were good. I had that 1 hour delay, and man, reliability was great. You know, sometimes the service is a little clunky. That Delta flight I just came off was, flight attendants were just lazy as hell, unacceptable. Every hotel I was in was good, every single one. Only 2 had lounges. They were, or I lied, 3. 3 had lounges. The lounge at the Marriott in Dulles wasn't that great, but they gave me a voucher for breakfast. So the other 2 lounges were great. The Sheraton in Hanoi and the La Meridian in Ho Chi Minh City. Those lounges were great. 8 airport lounges. Most of them were great. The 2 in Ho Chi Minh City, one was nice, one wasn't, but they were affiliated and they had the same catering. It wasn't good at all. In fact, that's the day I kind of got sick just from not eating the right things. Wasn't good. Took the day cruise in Halong Bay. It was awesome, really good. 2 tours in Istanbul, the one on the way out, which was 7 hours-ish, really good. One on the way back, which was 3.5 hours, kind of a waste of time. And way too many cab and tuk-tuk rides, but that's how you got to get around, right? So all in all, a great trip. I saw a lot in terms of cost. So airfare and cruise, right around $4,000, and that's because I flew business class on Turkish. That was $3,500 of it. Then the other 3 tickets I bought, and then the cruise was about another $500. My flights to and from DC were with Delta miles, 22,000 miles, because they actually had a promotion. I had initially booked it for 38,000 miles, and when the promotion happened, I rebooked the same exact flights and got 16,000 miles back. So that was awesome. Didn't spend a dime on hotels. I used hotel points in every single city. Didn't spend any money on hotels whatsoever. Food's cheap in Asia. It's really cheap. I only bought 1 breakfast the whole time, and in the 2 cities where I had lounges, that covered my dinner. But you know, I spent almost no money on food. I don't even know how much I spent, but if I spent $200 on food in 2 weeks, I'd be surprised. I don't even think I spent that much. Cab rides, spent a lot on that. I really have no clue how much. Probably $200, maybe more. I did get ripped off a few times, but even when you get ripped off over there, it's still half the price of what it would cost you in the U.S. So, all in all, just amazing bucket list trip. Covered a lot of ground, saw a lot of things, and so that's it. I'm getting ready to head home and reload. The wifey and I are going to South Africa soon, to Cape Town, and then on safari. So until then, this is your host Dave signing off. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up, comment. Really appreciate you going along with me. It's kind of weird traveling by yourself, but I feel like I have some virtual companions with me. So I'll leave you with this. The same thing I always close out my trips with is, you know, the idea behind my channel is to give you an idea what this kind of travel is all about. And so what I would say to you is, you know, if you're considering this kind of travel, just do it. Just do it. What do you have to lose? I mean, you come back a different person than you left. You learn about other cultures. You get to see amazing sights. These experiences are things you you remember for your whole life. That's why they call them bucket list trips. So that's my advice to you, is just do it. Find a way to do it. Particularly with Asia, it's dirt cheap. Everything's cheap. Getting there is a different story, especially if you want to fly business class. But if you have the means and the health to do it and the stamina, you know, I am blessed that at my age I still have the stamina to be able to walk and deal with lack of sleep and, you know, stuff like that. But it's awesome. I live for this stuff. I live for it. And so thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you on the next trip. Peace out.